Welcome to this fourth episode of Talking Politics with Dotun Oladipo, anchored by the managing editor of the Eagle Online, Dotun Oladipo. In this episode, we'll be looking at the APC Presidential Primaries, which will go into voting this night. And ultimately, this edition will dovetail into the winners and losers as the ruling party in Nigeria at the federal level chooses its presidential candidate. The latest information available as we went into the studio was that governors elected on the platform of the APC have approached President Muhammadu Buhari with the names of 5 of the aspirants seeking the presidential ticket of the party for him to choose a consensus candidate from. As we also learned, the president has returned those names to the governors and told them to prune it down to 2 to make it easier for him to deal with. Who are those 2? We are still waiting. But this was what transpired, going by the first recommendation. The other governors, except, of course, the Kogi State Governor, Yahaya Bello, who has insisted on pursuing his presidential ambition, all agreed and recommended 5 Southerners for the ticket of the APC. Those recommended were the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, former Lagos State Governor and National Leader of the APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Ekiti State Governor, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, the former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amici, and then the Ebonyi State Governor, David Umahi. As the over 2,000 delegates, precisely 2,222 delegates converged in Abuja at the Eagle Square today to vote, they were shocked on Monday by a revelation by the national chairman of the party that the party and President Muhammadu Buhari had picked the Senate President, Ahmad Lawan, as the consensus candidate. But as expected, in a matter of minutes, the presidency denounced what the Ondo State Governor described as an expensive joke by Senator Adamu. He said, when he wrote a statement, that Adamu was frolicking on his own, and that this was contrary to the agreement that the southern part of the country will produce the APC presidential candidate. Lawan is from Yobe State. Here is what Governor Akeredolu said. The speculation is rife that the chairman took a flight of fancy and decided to make a pronouncement beyond his competence. He has allegedly made public his preferred choice as the candidate of the APC for the office of president in the next general election. This alleged pronouncement runs contrary to the position of majority of northern governors in APC and their counterparts in the south. Our agreement is unanimous on this issue. The office of the president should be contested for by qualified person from the southern part of the country if the move to get a consensus candidate fails. There has been no shift from this settled issue. Let it be known that the chairman or anyone who has a contrary opinion does so at his own personal level. He is at best embarking on a frolic which reasonable people will consider dangerous. We are grieving, but have not forgotten that power must shift to the south. On this we stand. So also have members of the APC National Working Committee disowned this chairman on the issue of consensus candidates. The National Organizing Secretary, Alhaji Suleiman Agugu, who addressed the press after the meeting where Adamu made the pronouncement.
You can see all of us are coming from the NWC meeting, but we are fully briefed by our national chairman, the distinguished Senator, His Excellency Abdullahi Adamu, and he did brief us that Senator Abdullahi, the Senate President, Ahmed Lawan is a consensus candidate for the APC National Convention. And that is just for the information he gave us. But it's not an issue that has been discussed on the floor of the NWC. And we have just, like you are all aware, just recently, about 2 days ago, the Northern Governors meeting had a meeting that the leadership of this country under all Progressive Congress should go to the north. And equally, the Southern Governors also affirmed that. So we, as members of NWC, we are also with the governors on what they have said. And that's some minutes ago, the governors in the north have gone to the presidency and have just briefed the press that they are still on what they said with regard to the power shift to the south.
So categorically, are you rejecting the position of the national chairman?
No, you see, I said it's just an information he gave us, but it's not an issue that has to be deliberated on the floor of the NWC. It's an information, and all of us are entitled to our opinion. We are all Democrats, and we can exercise.
So in a nutshell, sir, this decision was not taken by the NWC.
This decision was never taken by the NWC, but an information given to the NWC.
So also should we not forget that there's a subsisting communique signed by 11 governors from the north, elected on the platform of the APC. In that communique, they said pointedly, this decision to support power shift to the south is in the best interest of the country. And as such, it was still their position when they met with the president on Monday, where they apologized to him that the communique leaked before it got to him. Was it deliberate? Some have said it's still a part of the politicking for the 2023 election. But as some have observed, and rightly so, this is perhaps the first time in the history of the return to democracy since 1999 that state governors will be disagreeing openly with the choice of a presidential candidate with the sitting president. In the past, and this was mainly during the regime of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, his pronouncement became the law. He chose late Alhaji Umaru Yar'Adua as the president, and nobody contended with him over it, despite the fact that some had reservations. Some have described this as one of the benefits of having a president who has refused to monetize politics, because a lot of people who have been following political developments in Nigeria know that the governors, the state governors, that is, decide where the pendulum swings. They decide it at their own level, which is at the state, and they also do so at the federal level. When this government was going to contest in the first place and come into power, defeating the People's Democratic Party, the election of the president was largely sponsored by those who came together from the 5 parties that formed the All Progressives Congress. For the 2019 elections, from what we knew and what we saw, the governors of the party also funded it, with the president, to his credit by some, refusing to get involved in the monetization of politics. And it is in that wise that many believe that the governors have been able to have their way with the president by insisting on having a candidate not endorsed by him. So not many were shocked when on Monday, the president, through his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Malam Garuba Shehu, said in a statement, "I have no preferred candidate and I've anointed no one, and I'm determined to ensure that there shall be no imposition of any candidate on the party." So, in going into these primaries, what has become quite clear is that the governors are having their way. And as such, they are very categorical on the fact that, despite the fact that they are not going to dictate to the president, they are going to advise him, but they know that they have had their way. Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State, who spoke on behalf of these governors, said, and I quote him again, "We sat down in the last few days and took a decision and gave an advisory. While we were on our way to advise the president, part of our discussions leaked out. Mr. President, being a Democrat, insisted on listening to us. So he granted us the opportunity today. And our meeting today is to reaffirm our position. We apologize to him that the statement, that is the statement backing power shift to the South, was made by all of us. Mr. President was happy with our decision. Mr. President believes in a democratic process and that every candidate must emerge through a transparent process. The emphasis Mr. President made was that for now, there is no anointed candidate, and therefore directed the Progressive Governors Forum should meet with the National Working Committee of the party to agree." That meeting on Monday night with the National Working Committee held, but it was not attended by the national chairman, Alhaji Abdullahi Adamu. And at the end of that meeting, the National Organizing Secretary was clear when he said, till that moment, no consensus candidate has emerged. In this fluid situation, the question that has been agitating the minds of a lot of Nigerians has been, who then are the winners and losers in this process that has perhaps gotten to a cliff, and then all of a sudden, the temper and the temperature of those who are involved are gradually being cooled. Top on the list of the losers in this game are the national chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Adamu, and the president of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, who appeared to have played all their jokers in the game to have Lawan emerge as presidential candidate of the party. So also, and unfortunately so, is the Kogi State Governor, Yahaya Bello, one of the losers. He started his campaign early, took it right to where he feels it belongs, that is, to the women and the youth, who are the core focus of his campaign. But at the end of the day, despite being an early starter, the politics of the country that focuses on zoning is denying him the opportunity to even contest at the presidential primaries, not to talk of emerging as the winner. Who are the biggest winners? Top on that list is the southern part of the country. We recall that there has been strident calls and agitation for power to return to the south after 80 years of President Muhammadu Buhari in the saddle. It appeared this wasn't going to happen, especially with the major political parties, that is the All Progressive Congress and the People's Democratic Party. This fear became more intense when the People's Democratic Party also left its presidential ticket open, and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar won it after one of the leading contenders and former governor of Anambra State, Mr. Peter Obi, left the party for Labour Party, where he is now the candidate. On the winning list also is former Lagos State Governor and national leader of the APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. For a few weeks now, he has been under a lot of pressure and has been confronted over issues directly relating to his ambition to become the president of the country. With the decision to zone the presidency to the south, and also the decision of the northern governors to reduce the number of candidates to 5, with his name featuring prominently, he is a winner in this game, whether he loses or wins at the primaries tonight. So also on the winning list is the vice president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who has also traversed the whole of the country, campaigning to replace his boss as president in 2023. There were also fears that he will also be a part of the history of presidential aspirants once it is not zoned to the south. Also on the winning list are the governors from the north who have decided to back the southern presidency, especially the Kano State Governor, Abdullahi Ganduje, who has been on this campaign for over a year, despite the fact that he is known, a very well-known supporter of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Credit has still been given to him for championing a southern presidency. As the 2,322 delegates go to the poll this night, and we await at the most tomorrow morning a result from that primaries. Meetings are still going on in Abuja. People are still politicking and discussing and perhaps trying to see if they can still find a consensus candidate without having to go into election. But it appears to be a very tall dream, and we'll see as it unfolds later today. Don't forget, you can always contribute to this program via a 2-minute video or by email of no more than 500 words sent to info@theeagleonline.com.ng. The address again, info@theeagleonline.com.ng. Until we see in the 4th episode of this series, which will be tomorrow after the APC primaries, where we'll be able to analyze all the politicking that had gone on while the voting was also on. I remain Dotun Oladipo.